And now we'll go ahead and move on to the Mariners.
So we continue our Mariners spring training coverage over the past, 6 games over the past week that took place, one of them happening as we were recording last week. So we'll look into it. March 21st at the Arizona Diamondbacks, losing that game 1-9. Player of the game would be third baseman Abraham Toro, going 2 for 3 with an RBI. On the 22nd versus Chicago Cubs, tying that game 5-5. Player of the game being first baseman Mike Ford, going 1 for 1 with a run and 2 RBIs. It's interesting with spring training because you can tie games. There are also situations where you can play to like 7 innings and both managers be like, hey, do you want to keep playing this game or you think we're done? No, we're done. It's kind of funny to know that spring training, we're okay not continuing this game.
Leniency.
So that tie against the Cubs on the 22nd. So we'll go back here to finish up this of 3 of 6. March 24th at the Cleveland Guardians, winning that game 3-2. Player of the game, newly signed left fielder Billy Hamilton, going 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs. Head over to our next 3. March 25th versus the Chicago White Sox, winning that game 3-0. Player of the game, right fielder Mitch Haniger, going 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. March 26th at the Milwaukee Brewers, another 5-5 tie in this one. Player of the game would be catcher Tom Murphy, going 1 for 2 with 1 run, 2 RBIs, and a walk. March 27th at the Oakland Athletics, winning that game 7-1. Player of the game, third baseman Eugenio Suarez, going 1 for 3 with 1 run and 2 RBIs. So a decent week. I mean, it's always kind of weird when you see 2 ties on the recaps, especially when it's not games that can actually get tied. Other sports where they actually do ties, right? So we head over to our players of the week. Interesting here to see our notes. I had Abraham Toro. Toro's had a pretty solid spring training so far in 14 at bats. He's got a 571 average, a 647 on base percentage, a 714 slugging percentage, a 1.361 on base plus slugging, 1 walk, 10 total bases, an RBI, a triple, and 8 hits. Toro, I mean, I remember the trade for Toro at the deadline for Kendall Graveman and all the outrage that happened. And it made sense to me at the time because Kendall Graveman was going to be a free agent at the end of the year. You had no idea if he was going to re-sign, and you wanted to get some value out of him, right? So like a logical general manager, you trade for a guy, you get some value out of him. Mm-hmm. And you get a guy that's young and talented. And in his first 3 games, he hits like 3 home runs. And you're like, what the hell? And everyone was still mad at it. I know now that obviously that's kind of simmered down, but he's got a lot of talent. He might push for that third baseman spot. I don't know that for sure. But Toro's definitely going to be a guy that's going to make an impact this year. And I'm excited to see it. I just remember the general discourse when that happened. Even I was in the ballpark right when that trade got announced, like a few hours before the game. And you could hear like the ushers talking about it. Oh, Graveman just got traded. And it was like, oh boy, and that obviously there's a lot of discourse about that. Belle, do you care to discuss your...
So I'm going to agree with you this week, but I'm also going to mention what I wrote on my notes here because I just have a bunch of sad, disappointed faces. Last week on my player of the week, not everyone was happy with my choice of Joe Rizzo. So this week, I'm going to ask you guys to chime in the comments and tell me who you think the player of the week was. And I will do my homework moving forward, and you'll see more of these from me in the weeks coming.
It's perfect time for it because spring training and baseball is it's approaching. It's not right on the doorstep, but we got what, two weeks? Mm-hmm. And I think next week we'll have to look at opening day roster just to see where we think things might stack up, because I know that there are spots that are kind of set into place, but also especially with Mariners fans, there's a couple positions that aren't exactly filled to their liking. So we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Next week we head over to injury news, which again, every time we look at injury news, it's upsetting, I guess, in a way. We head over to March 26th, Evan White was diagnosed with a sports hernia. The first baseman will undergo surgery as soon as possible. From what I understand, sports hernia, the turnaround time for that is 6 to 12 weeks. It's a tough break for Evan White. I was a fan of Evan White. He won a Gold Glove in 2020 and really showed out. Just had to kind of fix his swing, get some more at-bats in there, and got injured. Well, just really couldn't put it together fully in 2021 and got injured. And then Ty France wins that first baseman spot and really kind of shows out in doing so. Should have been at least a finalist for the Gold Glove Award. It's a tough situation because you had a spot that you might have considered your own, right? Heading into 2021, you get injured, and then this other guy comes out and he shows up. It's like something out of a movie, right? You know, some guy comes in and takes your spot.
Just waiting.
Yeah. And now it's tough because I know he was considered potential trade bait last year. You can't really trade him right now because he's damaged goods. So it's a tough situation because I know at least this year it would have been probably nice to get him some time in AAA. You know, get him to really fix that swing, get his legs under him, and because the defensive side of it's there. It's just about getting his swing down. Now you've got another setback, so it's really tough to look at this, and I don't know. It's tough to be Evan White right now. So that's difficult to look at, and hoping for the best and a quickest recovery possible as he deals with that sports hernia. We head over to team news. We got a bunch of roster move kind of things as the Mariners look to whittle down their spring training roster. On the 22nd, the team optioned Joey Gerber, right-handed pitcher, down to AAA Tacoma. Optioned AA right-handed pitcher Juan Then down to AA Arkansas. Reassigned right-handed pitcher Travis Kuhn, infielders Jose Caballero, infielder Noel V. Marte, outfielder Zach DeLoach, all down to minor league camp. And then signing right-handed pitcher Sal Romano to a minor league deal with an invite to major league camp. On the 23rd, which is the most interesting signing of the week, the team signed relief pitcher Sergio Romo to a 1-year, $2 million contract. Over his 14 MLB seasons, he's appeared in 798 games, with winning 3 World Series rings and being named a All-Star in 2013. This is an interesting signing. He appeared, I mean, he's kind of getting up there in age, but he's appeared at 60 games last year with the Athletics. So, I mean, he's still got some gas in him. And I'm sure this was definitely a move in response to the loss of Casey Sadler last week due to injury. So I'm intrigued. It was kind of fun reading about it because I guess like 5 minutes into him being in the clubhouse, players were already talking to him, you know, about just trying to talk to him just because he's a veteran. I mean, 14 years, man, that's a lot.
A lot of knowledge to share.
So I think it's good, and especially for a team that's, you know, really, really hoping to make the playoffs this year, having that veteran presence and that knowledge, like you said, should really be able to help in that bullpen. And the Mariners bullpen was such a big piece pitching wise that the team relied on last season. So hoping that they can do the same this year. Maybe not the same circumstances, but you know, Romo's going to have a big impact, I think, this upcoming season. March 24th, it was announced that Mariners legend Ichiro Suzuki will throw out the first pitch on opening day, April 15th. This coming with the news that Ichiro weekend, August 17th through 19th, I believe it is, Ichiro will have his, I don't think it's confirmed yet, but it's highly likely that this happens, that his number will be retired. He's being elected into the Mariners Hall of Fame, but I feel like that's kind of it's a given at this point. And especially with the statues that the Mariners have outside T-Mobile Park, with Griffey being behind home plate, Edgar Martinez going down the first baseline, I feel like to me, right, if we're going to have a third statue, because it kind of feels awkward to have one like this and not have a third one, Ichiro would be the perfect candidate to have a statue on the other side, and I think it would make a lot of sense.
And if you don't have your tickets for Ichiro weekend, you probably should be quick on that because opening night is completely sold out the last time I checked, which was 2 days ago. So if you do want to be part of that, definitely look into getting your tickets now. Yeah,
that's a good point out, because if you're going to wait till the week of or even the month of, those will probably be gone. I know that anytime anything Ichiro related happened while I've been working with the ballpark, there's a lot of people there, a lot of Ichiro fans. It's just a big deal. So yes, I would get on that. I know it's not till August, but still safer to get it now, you know, and maybe by then we're, you know, chugging along, you know, near the top of the division. It might already be a competitive team. So that might be a higher ticket regardless. So March 26th, the team assigned 3 to minor league camp, right-handed pitcher Devin Sweet, left-handed pitcher Roenis Elias, and catcher Jake Anchia. On the 27th, to wrap up our roster moves, infielder Kevin Padlow was optioned to AAA Tacoma. Alberto Rodriguez, an outfielder, was optioned to High A Everett. and 5 players were optioned to minor league camp: right-handed pitcher Asher Wojciechowski, catcher Josh Morgan, outfielders Forrest Wall and Marcus Wilson, and infielder/outfielder Sam Haggerty. So, getting all that and moving along to the team record. The team sits at a 4-3 record, which I can't even put ties there because we don't even spring training is weird.
Yeah.
Again, we have a heavy slate for you of upcoming games. We're going to split it into 2 because there's 7 total games this upcoming week. There's already going on right now. The team is playing the Texas Rangers. It's tied. The second inning just ended, so tied at 0. We looked at the rest: March 29th versus the Kansas City Royals at 1:10, March 30th at the Chicago Cubs at 1:05, March 31st versus the Cleveland Guardians at 6:40, April 1st at the Colorado Rockies at 6:40 as we move along to the second set here, April 2nd versus the Milwaukee Brewers at 6:40, and April 3rd at the Kansas City Royals at 3:05. So that is your slate of spring training, and the Mariners